We shot a cinematic short about a runner, and that runner was me. Boo! Narcissist. This is a filmmaking channel. Stop talking about your dumb marathons. I want to hear about Sony. All right, hear me out. We've been growing this running channel in the background for over a year now, and I'm convinced that the success and the growth in it is because of the cinematic approach and storytelling within that niche. More about that in a bit. Mostly everything shot in this short with movement was shot with a Super 73 electric bike. And a Ronin RS3 gimbal to keep up. I don't know what that was. We relied exclusively on natural and available light outside of this one shot that was in my garage with a couple tube lights in the corner, but mostly everything was silhouetted or lit with a window or just golden hour outside. And those two shots in the garage were the only two on a Canon C70. Otherwise we used iPhone, GoPro, and mostly a Sony FX3.
Whose is this?
It's not mine.
You said you're gonna stay with Canon forever.
I never said that.
But I do swear it's not mine. It's Cyrus's FX3. Cyrus, my new employee. You should say hi, Cyrus.
Hello.
How did we meet?
In May of last year at Danny Gevirtz's private screening of Itis.
Is it, has it been difficult to work with me? All jokes aside, Cyrus is a legend. He's only 20 years old, and he's helped me build this entire Boston Marathon series the last 12 weeks, weekly videos. And yeah, it wouldn't have been possible without him, but I want you guys to hear his entire setup with the FX3, so take it away, Cyrus.
Yeah, so my setup for the majority of this training block and this video specifically has been the Sony FX3, the Sigma Art 24-70 f2.8, Tiffin 1/8 Black Pro Mist on there, and then the Polar Pro Variable ND 2 to 5 stop. Rode mic 3 Pro Plus, I don't know, and the DJI RS3 as the gimbal.
And for me, whenever we were in studio doing talking head stuff, we had the C70 with 15 to 35 f2.8, the RF glass, also a 1/8 Pro Mist, no VND, because it has internal ND. And this vintage Cascade tube mic that everybody asks me about that I'm not holding right now, that I'm about to go get because you need to see it. Dang it! It's at my house right now. I'll get some other B-roll of it. What SD cards do we use?
So the SD cards that I have are the 128 gig pro grade. I don't know the right speed.
Well, I have the 256, so, and I think it's the same one. So it's a 250 read write, 300 meg read, 250 write. And that's what we need to be able to shoot, at least to shoot RAW on the C70, and probably the codecs on the FX3 as well.
Yeah, so for this whole series, any of this stuff on Sony, we shot S-Log 3, and then anything that was like talking head in the studio was C-Log 2 on the Canon, on the C70.
Your favorite camera? For all the FX3 footage, we consistently use the Phantom S-Log 3 to Rec 709 LUT to get it to Rec 709, and then Gamut's base LUT for C-Log 2 to Rec 709 for the C70. Everything after that was colored with my Avondale LUT in the 606 collection, and we would do the opacity or the intensity of that at 30 to 50% to get the look that we got across the whole series and the short.
So to give some context for the short, we started planning about a week out before posting, which we knew we were going to post the day before Eric's race, as that's when all the hype is building up. So for a week out, I went on shot deck and pulled a bunch of inspiration, started to piece out what each shot wanted to look like. And then I headed over to Eric's house early one morning, and we shot in his house and on a run, easy run through the forest preserve as well.
And all that stuff in the house was all shot with available light, between window light and silhouettes and like a lamp in the kitchen. Pretty approachable, especially a shot where we like opened the curtain and then revealed available light. It's pretty sweet. And then relying on angles too. We kind of collaborated on that shot where I put the armband on. It's pretty cool from the low angle. I felt like we did a decent bit of intentionality throughout the entire block to shoot. Well, it was just kind of how it rolled out. Like the middle of the week, we would shoot in the afternoon to evening, and sun would be setting at the track. And then we would do some early runs, sunrise for the long runs as well. So we were catching golden hour in the morning and the evening most of the time. The feeling of this specific short was super important because all the people that kept up with the entire series for 12 weeks were waiting in anticipation for this race. So you wanted to give them that feeling of anticipation and readiness, ready for the race. And then anybody that was new showing up to watch the video was probably showing up because they were about to run Boston Marathon as well. And we wanted that emotion to seep through to them in a way that got them excited and anticipating the race as well for their own race. Since we gave ourselves enough time, about a week before we posted it, I went to Musicbed before we even went on the trip to look for a song that would match that feeling. And I knew I wanted to do something in the hip hop genre just to get that hype going. After I selected hip hop, I went to the mood section and selected eerie, just to see what kind of tension we could get from a song that was in hip hop genre. And the second song on that search, Humboldt Reimagined, was the absolute best. I pulled you in the other room and then our brain started exploring with ideas, especially this section.
Yeah, this really special part of the song where the audio pan from left to right, we just knew that it'd be perfect for a match cut sequence that we had with all the iPhone clips that Eric's been recording on every training run.
Every time I jump into a new project with Musicbed being the source for music, I'm constantly blown away at how they're refining their process of allowing filmmakers to pick the right songs and the songs that fit for them in each project. And now they have a new AI-powered search where you can find virtually any artist and or song you love, and it'll match that genre and feeling to songs that are in Musicbed's library faster than ever. So for me personally, I love the band Bleachers, and Tiny Moves, the new song on their newest album, an immediate all-time favorite. So I searched that up on Musicbed and I found Only Want the Best by Judah and the Lion. This part of the song is, honestly, it blew my mind how similar to Bleachers it is.
I only want the best for it. I want the best, I only want the best for it. I want the best, I only want the best for it.
Coming from a wedding and commercial filmmaking background, I know this tool is going to be invaluable for so many filmmakers, so please do yourself a favor, head over to Musicbed and try out this new feature for yourself. Switch to Musicbed today and sign up for your free 14-day trial. Thank you to Musicbed for sponsoring this video and always supporting my ever-evolving career as a filmmaker online. All right, since we already sneak peeked this, go ahead and show them how you cut this match sequence from left to right, this really cool thing, how you made it look as if I was running across multiple scenes.
So this part of the song, there was basically like 12 beats all in a row that made for a perfect match sequence between all of these shots, these treadmill shots. And I think what was so interesting about it was obviously you're in the same space on the treadmill, but the time of day is different, the lighting is different in each shot. So to make it seem like it's a match cut, basically I had one clip that I picked, that was the base layer, and I based every clip off of that one in terms of timing. It was pretty time consuming, but it's well worth it when you watch it in the end. Each clip ended up being 2 frames on the timeline.
So you're talking 14 frames total, or there's 12 clips?
Yeah.
So it's 1 second, 24 frames.
1 full second. Basically what I did was every time that there was like the last frame of a certain shot, I skipped ahead to the next frame as the first frame of the next shot, because that would be the next frame in the original.
So you would use the arm movement where it is in the frame to find the next frame on the next clip, matching where the hand is on the same arm.
I would basically match the spot and then drag 1 frame ahead because it's going to be the next frame. The thing is like I would base it off of the base clip, but then obviously like at the end of the day, the clip before it is more important than the base clip in terms of timing. Mm-hmm. So I would base everything off of the clip before and try to match the spot. And I realized, because originally I had edited something like this in the past, and when I did that, I did match the exact spot, but I realized that that was slowing down your stride because it's the same spot in your stride twice on 2 frames.
Yes.
So I'm skipping ahead.
Yep.
And that's what allowed this one to work so well.
It feels like a bunch of trial and error then. You have to play it back and just see if it looks. Yeah. So would you punch into each shot to be able to scale it to the right perspective? Because not every single time I'm not holding it in the same exact place.
Yeah, you can even see in the effect controls panel, you can see each clip there's a different position and scaling in each one, just trying to match. I basically based everything off of your head matching.
So finding an anchor point.
Yeah, because the window in the background or the garage was all going to be in different spots each time because it was different ranges of how far away your phone was. But as long as there was one point in it that was the same or as close to similar as possible,
you'd get the effect. Yeah. And then it ended in this. And it felt like every time we showed this to someone, everyone just went, whoa. Yeah. And I'm going to touch on this later about the effect and the emotional effect of a volume of work, volume of shooting over days to just a 1 second clip can have such emotional impact and weight.
A short like this has so much more emotional impact when the viewer can actually see that it took a long time to film it, or the process to happen over a long period of time, with indicators like hairstyles changing, facial hair changing, light changing, the seasons changing, to show the span of that time, the amount of work put in both on the subject side and with the work that the cinematographer did. It makes those sequences like the match cut have that much more weight because they understand the breadth and amount of time it's taken to make all this and do all this. Having come off of a documentary for 2 years of shooting with Joe, that's been compounded like crazy to see, you know, his progression over 12 entire months and the film happening over a year and a half has that much more emotional impact in the story of the entire thing. And that's the wild thing that's just so antithetical to the online world of filmmaking, is that it, you know, especially with short form, like all this stuff just needs to be hammered out. And unfortunately, places like YouTube, it thrives, like your channel growth thrives over consistency and regular consistency. But if you're afforded the opportunity and the privilege to make something that's longer form, that takes that much time to make, to leave that kind of emotional impact on an audience, I encourage you to try it. And since we took about a week to plan this entire video, we knew that the ending, we wanted it to be us rolling into Boston. So we were really intentional about shooting through the airport, getting into the city, as well as my friend Steven Southall helping with this last shot with the finish line. That's only set up a couple days before the marathon, only would be possible with that kind of planning. So without further ado, I hope you enjoy the chance.
I've never been this dedicated to running. Out of 90 days in this training block, I missed 1 day. I've seen and felt my body transform into a new machine, and it's time to test that machine. Progress has continued, although I thought it would have stopped where I was a year ago. I never dreamed of running these paces for these distances, and none of it would be possible without the commitment to the process. And that's what I said I would do. Be committed to it. Be about it. "11 miles easy every other day. Treadmill. Boston Hill emulation. Track visits every week. Workouts that seemed to be impossible came and went. Done and dusted. I struggled through the majority of long runs but stayed committed, because I knew that was the only way I had a shot at this goal. Week after week, progress ensued. The heart rate got lower on the easy days and the speed came. 15-mile workouts had me beat, but they got done. We kept stacking bricks. The volume took a toll. Between sickness, travel, and work, caught up to me near the end. I had a very underwhelming long run workout, shaking my confidence, leaving me questioning if such a public goal was the best idea. I knew a PR was very achievable, but sub 235 started to feel like a stretch, especially on a course like Boston. Peak week came around and ended with the best long run of my life, 22 miles at 6:12 a mile average. Marathon pace felt doable, comfortable even, and the confidence came back. It took so many early mornings, months, even years of training to get to this point. I started running marathons with the hope of qualifying for and running the marathon in this town. It's hard to believe it's here, and it's hard to believe I'm trying to run the distance faster than I ever have. But you see, fast marathon times don't happen by chance. My time goal feels horrifying, and based on everything we know, it's going to be close. But it's not unrealistic, because the work I've done has given me a chance. So all that's left to do is race.